Donald Trump's Saturday morning filled with chaos and mayhem in Mar-a-Lago, where he is again staying on the taxpayer dime. It's been post after post attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her an absolute traitor and a disgrace. This guy is spiraling out of control since the release of those 23,000 Epstein emails that were produced by the Epstein estate, thanks to the great investigative work of the Democrats in the House Oversight Committee. Donald Trump's name appeared on over half of the email threads on those Epstein emails. So here's what he's posting this morning. He goes, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. Then he goes, lightweight Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Brown. Green grass turns brown when it begins to rot! ! So Donald Trump's new nickname for her is lightweight Marjorie Taylor Brown. Very creative, Donald. Said she betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left, performed poorly on The Pathetic View, and became the rhino that we all know she always was. Just another fake politician, no different than Rand Paul Jr. Thomas Massey, who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only. Rhino! Make America great again. Governor Newsom's social media team posted basically, we gotta pray for this guy. He's deeply unwell right now. And so as Donald Trump's name appeared in those Epstein emails in some of the most grotesque and odd and weird and dangerous ways, Donald Trump thinks that if he just posts photos of himself and Melania hugging each other, that we'll all be like, I guess this is a normal guy in a normal marriage. Nothing to see here, folks. So the White House has been making posts like this. I can't help falling in love with you. I know that's not how the actual song goes, and I'm not sure why I did that song. But that's what it says. I can't help falling in love with you. And it's a photo of Donald Trump hugging Melania, which we've very rarely seen before. He's going in for the kiss. She's not really reciprocating the kiss. But nothing to see here, folks, like nothing to see in those Epstein emails where Jeffrey Epstein and his brother wrote, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. And that followed Epstein saying, everything's all good. Bannon is good with me. So Epstein was speaking with Steve Bannon and then talking with his brother about whether or not Putin has photos of Donald Trump blowing Bubba. Now, the signs were there. Remember when Donald Trump would hold those campaign events and he would do the things where he would be like, and we would call it out every time. We'd be like, folks, this is not a normal speech. This guy is not well. Remember he would do that in all of his speeches during the campaign? Here, let's just play the clip to remind you. Play this clip.
Magic. And just bad news, bad things are happening. I'm sorry.
I remember when Donald Trump would give speeches and he would perform oral sex on the microphone. Remember he would do that? Here, play this clip.
So, I had to go.
Or this photo right here of Donald Trump when he was with former President Bill Clinton at the U.S. Open, deciding to grab, his genitals, it seems. Or when Donald Trump would give speeches, he would talk about the size of other men's genitals. Like he would say, Arnold Palmer. Everybody knew that golfer, Arnold Palmer, they'd see him in the shower and they would say, oh, Palmer, you got a big penis there. Donald Trump would say, I had to tell you this story. Why would you have to tell us that story during a campaign event? Maybe, hear me out, folks. Maybe that was a warning sign that this guy should not be in the Oval Office. I mean, many other warning signs, like he bankrupted all of his businesses or most of his businesses. He's been found liable for sexual assault. He's been found liable for fraud. He's a felon as well. But the entire first administration, how he destroyed our country and told us like a miracle COVID was all going to go away. The January 6th insurrection, but him talking about Arnold Palmer's penis size. Red flag for me. Red flag for me in the terms of leadership qualities during a campaign speech. Here, play this clip.
But when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there. They said, "Oh my God." That's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here.
And then this past week, Donald Trump's been, he'd invite authoritarians over to the Oval Office, like the leader of Syria, who used to be the head of Al-Qaeda, and Trump would spray perfume on him. Remember when Trump sprayed perfume on the leader of Syria? I'll just play the clip for you in case you didn't see it. Here, play this clip.
Men's fragrance. Yeah. This is it. No.
It's sexy.
It's the best fragrance. Come here,
I have no one here, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is just take that, Joe, put it in, and then the other one is for your wife. How many ones? One for what? You guys I never know, right? I never.
And then on this show that aired on Fox, J.D. Vance and RFK Jr. were, I don't even know what this show was. I don't even know what this was, but they were like, one they got asked the question, who is the funniest in the cabinet? And J.D. Vance like, it's got to be Donald Trump. When he had the leader of Syria and he was spraying perfume and he said, "How many wives do you have?" And by the way, like J.D. Vance's face is also like turning orange now. There's no comedic timing in what Donald Trump did. Here, play this clip.
Who's the funniest guy on the cabinet?
Well, obviously, the President of the United States.
Yeah.
I mean,
Decided.
the president met the president of Syria, al-Shara, in the Oval Office a couple of days ago. And, he asked him, he's like, "Well, how many wives do you have?" And it's just like, oh, what an amazing question. Amazing comedic timing. There are layers to it. There's like a meta humor to it. It's just, anyway, but we got a lot of good humor in the cabinet.
But folks, on a very deeply serious note, in addition to how grotesque those Epstein emails are and all of the red flags it raises, the corruption continues at the White House in earnest. The Trump Organization is in talks that could bring a new Trump-branded property to one of Saudi Arabia's largest government-owned real estate developments. The latest example of Trump blending governance, I wouldn't even call it that, but governance and family business. This is at the same time that Donald Trump has said that he will be honoring Saudi Arabia and giving Saudi Arabia additional U.S. fighter jets. But then Trump's family gets the quid pro quo. It appears. Also, when a delegation from Switzerland showed up at the White House, I guess after the perfume spraying incident of the leader of Syria, former Al-Qaeda leader. This is how Axios says it. Apple set the tone when Tim Cook gave Trump an engraved glass disc. This week, the Swiss delegation gave him a special Rolex desktop clock and a $130,000 gold bar. And this is from a Trump administration official who spoke to Axios. It was tough to beat Apple, but the Swiss did it by giving him a $130,000 gold bar and the special Rolex desktop clock. They're not even denying it. They're saying you've got to one-up the gift of the last person. And folks, you got to stand up to this authoritarian regime, just like we're seeing in California with Governor Gavin Newsom, and how the California UC universities are fighting back. In California, a federal judge just issued a preliminary injunction barring the Trump regime from cutting all of the funding from the federal funding from University of California system. The district court judge, Rita Lynn in San Francisco, said that this is the MO of the Trump regime. They concoct a pretext and say, the universities are anti-Semitic, so we're pulling all of the funding. and it's part of a retaliatory effort in order to get universities to bend the knee to the Trump regime. What I found interesting, though, when I studied this on Ground News, it's where I get a lot of my news from as well. It's probably the top research tool I use to do these videos. Almost no right-wing media covered this massive loss that the Trump regime had in federal court, where it shows that if you stand up to the Trump regime, like the universities in California did under the leadership of Governor Newsom, you win. You win. So that's why I, by the way, use Ground News. You heard me say that before. I have to stay up to date on the news all the time in order to do these morning videos for you and to do videos throughout the day. This is a subscriber-funded app, Ground News is, and news site, and every day they pull in thousands of articles from around the world and organize them by story and then show you what the right is reporting, what the center is reporting, what the left is reporting. It's a game changer because as active, responsible citizens, we must get our news from reliable sources. In Trump's America, being informed about facts and media bias is the most important thing that you can do. But that's why we love Ground News. For every article, they also tell you, did a media conglomerate put this news out, or was it independent media? And they also list the degree of factuality, which is interesting, as there are a lot of news sources from media conglomerates that I see have mixed or low factuality. Independent media, like the MeidasTouch network, seems to have a higher factuality. But you get all that with your Ground News Vantage subscription plan. That's the plan that I use. I especially like their blind spot feature, their blind spot feed, which highlights stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. So I saw that the story about the judge who ruled against the Trump regime was not being covered by right-wing media at all. So join us by going to ground.news/MTN and get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that I use every morning. They are subscriber funded. And so by subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work here on this YouTube channel. So one more time, that's ground.news/MTN, and we've pinned the link below to purchase your subscription. Check it out. So as I mentioned, California Governor Gavin Newsom saying, please pray for our president. He's not mentally well. A photo that Governor Newsom's office posted of Donald Trump making weird faces like a toddler would, no offense to toddlers, with his hands. Also making it clear that the White House is the center of the PPP, the Pedo Protection Program, quite literally covering up a child sex trafficking ring by not releasing the Epstein files. And this is one of the things right here that Newsom was highlighting and that we all need to focus on. I showed you this clip before, but it's important I show it to you again. It's that Donald Trump is, of course, admitting now that he got the MRI. But he says he doesn't know which part of the body it was on, but he says it was a perfect MRI. Now, do you know anybody ever who's gotten an MRI who doesn't know the body part that the MRI was on? As Medias-san says, that's 25th Amendment territory right now. Here, play this clip.
If we denuclearize.
Mr. President, could you tell us why you needed to get an MRI? I understand that the results were good, but what was it for?
Because it's part of my physical. Getting an MRI is very standard. Well, you think I shouldn't have it? Other people got it.
Typically an MRI
I had an
is a
MRI.
specific part of your body.
Here's what the story is. I had an MRI. The doctor said it was the best result he has ever seen as a doctor. That's it. But I had an MRI as part of my standard yearly, or I think they do it every 2 years, but I have the physical every year. And the result was outstanding.
Was it your brain?
Did you
or
know?
heart?
I have no idea what they analyzed, but whatever they analyzed it well, and they said that I had as good a result as they've ever seen. Now, the other thing I took, as you know, a very advanced test on mental acuity, because I think a president should have to do that. And as you probably heard, I aced it. I got a perfect score. I got the highest score. I got a perfect score. And the only reason I tell you that is it's one subject, unlike Biden and others, that you can take off your plane.
The question on nuclear testing, just being very specific.
And indeed is. And then Donald Trump on that plane ride going to Mar-a-Lago, that's where that was taken, Air Force One, he talks about honoring Saudi Arabia. It's why I wanted to show you earlier in this video that Saudi Arabia was considering doing another Trump real estate project there. Donald Trump's honoring Saudi Arabia. Trump's personal business will benefit, and we will be giving Saudi Arabia military technology, as it seems, and honoring them. Here, play this clip.
You're meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince next week. Tell us
More
about
than meeting, we're honoring Saudi Arabia, the Crown Prince.
one of your goals in the meeting. Have you decided whether to sell F-35 fighter jets to Saudi Arabia? Are you going to do that?
Well, they want to buy a lot of jets. We make the best jets. We make the best missiles. You saw that when we took out the nuclear capability of Iran. No, you know, for 22 years they wanted to do that. No president had the guts to do it. We did it. And Iran is a different place. By the way, Iran wants to negotiate a deal too. Everybody wants to negotiate with us now. If we didn't have military strength, if we didn't rebuild our military in my first term, and now we continue to do it, Biden dissipated it by giving a chunk to the Taliban. Not a good idea.
Sorry.
But you know what? The good news is it was a lot, but relatively very little.
So, yes to the jets, or you're not sure yet?
I'm looking at that. They've asked me to look at it. They want to buy a lot of 35, but they want to buy actually more than that fighter jets, yeah.
And if you want to know, like, how our Trump surrogates and how our Trump regime propagandists, how are they articulating, like, the Trump's crashing out and the release of these Epstein emails? Well, you have Dershowitz, Trump's lawyer and surrogate, saying this. Play this clip.
Well, let me give you an example. 10 minutes before you went on, the predecessor on your show described Jeffrey Epstein as a convicted pedophile. He pleaded guilty to one count of having sex for money with a 17-year and 10-month-old person. That's not pedophile.
You have Megyn Kelly saying, right-wing propaganda saying this.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to.
And then you have Jesse Waters saying, believe Ghislaine Maxwell. She's the most trustworthy person here. Play this clip.
Ghislaine Maxwell said Trump did nothing wrong. So have Epstein's victims and Epstein's lawyer. And none of these emails implicate Trump. So we're back to square one.
I don't know, folks. You tell me what you think, but this is what's going on in MAGA world right now. Could we make sure our country just gets back to normalcy, please? Because this stuff is gross. It is weird. It is dangerous. There is criminality in the, what's been taking place in the Trump regime. We got to stop this, folks. Let's go. Wake up. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.